Hello, lovely people. Party people in the house. Anyway, um, I said I was going to take a break, right? Remember? Everybody remember when I said I'm just going to like sleep because I did Vlogmas and, wow, it was so difficult. And it actually wasn't that difficult. I just showed you guys what I do every day, a kind of, a mix of my personal craziness. And so it ended up not being bad at all. So after that, I had gone to Goodwill and I had found this massive supply of patterns. Um, and I went through them, and several of them are going to be in my Etsy store. I will put the link below to my Etsy store. I had an Etsy store about 2 years ago and I closed it. I was selling like vintage stuff that I found, some of my own stuff that I would find like all over the place, like garage sales and whatever. And it was fine, except that I had such complications figuring out Etsy's shipping system because I feel like Etsy's shipping system is much more complicated than it should be. Like, I may not know exactly what a package weighs. Sorry, I'm going to move this. I may not know exactly what a package weighs, but I can give it a good estimate, which means that I probably know how much it's going to be to ship it. But Etsy was so weird about it and wanted to know like exact weights, exact measurements of things. And I was like, look, this is going to cost me $7 in a flat rate box to ship. That's what it's going to cost. It's going to fit in a flat rate box and it's going to cost $7. And it was very complicated. And then I didn't realize that originally I had it set up for shipping all over the world, and I had to send a woman a package in Australia, and the cost was crazy and the tracking was crazy and everything. So I ended up closing it. So I reopened it. I'm selling a lot of the stuff that came out of this baby because there's a lot of stuff I just don't use. Like, I'm not going to make bras, so I'm selling off all that brassiere making stuff. So if you're interested, I'll put the link below. So before we get over that topic, I want to talk about something that is kind of near and dear to me. Okay, so I have lots of, I'll show you one, these kinds of patterns, right? So they're vintage reproductions. It's fine. And then when I went and got all those patterns, I got patterns like this, right? So this is the modern pattern. So it originally sold for $1.74 at Walmart back in 2002. Okay, now here's something about these patterns and I want to explain. Designers are not reinventing the wheel. There's almost nothing new. In fact, the only thing I can think of that's really new in fashion is athleisure, because really people used to wear things like joggers and yoga pants to go to the gym. They didn't really wear them all of the time. The fabrics they were made out of, there was some stuff that was, streetwear that you could make out of them, but streetwear has made athleisure a thing. By the way, not my cup of tea. I feel like the problem is athleisure you see in magazines is totally cool and edgy, and sometimes I see somebody doing streetwear and it's really cool and edgy. Most of the time what I see is people that look like they might or may not be homeless. I'm not 100% sure. I work for a company that does not actually, is not actually a part of Walmart, but we do all the samples for Walmart. And from dealing with Walmart employees, they used to call like the sweats or like your pajamas a Walmart tuxedo, and that always cracked me up because that unfortunately is what people end up wearing. Athleisure does not become like super cool tennis skirts and no, it's people that look like do you feel like you need to ask them if they need assistance? But anyway, I digress. So this pattern, I decided to keep this. It's my size and it's uncut. It's still factory folded. And even though I've been buying lots of these vintage patterns, the reason I'm keeping this dress is this silhouette is somewhat vintage. Let me show you the basics of this dress. If you look at this, this is a basic fit and flare princess seamed dress. This particular style of dress is all over the 1940s and the 1950s, and really to a certain extent the 1930s. It would have been a tighter skirt. It would have been a bias cut skirt in the 1930s, but it's there, right? So, because that's the thing. This pattern's from probably late 90s, early 2000s. It was probably a pattern that even though it was purchased in 2002, it probably was around in the late 90s. I can modify this. And when I say that, it does cause a certain amount of dread in my heart by simply changing these sleeves to a puffier variety of sleeve. I could also, if I was really wanted to drive myself crazy, I could turn this probably into a sweetheart neckline. Don't really want to do that, but I'm going to keep this because I need to kind of upgrade my LBD, my little black dress. And having a design like this in just a really nice black two-way stretch. And what I mean by two-way stretch is I'm probably going to look for a natural fiber like rayon in a two-way stretch, which literally means it stretches this way and it stretches this way. And this is what we had before polyester. It was a weave, not a polyester fiber. So that's what I'm going to do with this. So let's go back to today. So today I went back to Goodwill, which was, I don't know why. I was just there, right? I was just there like, well, I was there about a week ago. Okay, so it wasn't just there, but close enough, right? So, of course, I did my thing. I'm going to show you what I got. And then we're going to open this, which is all sewing supplies. Because I feel obliged to open my sewing supplies with the one or two people that may stumble upon my channel and are interested in sewing and also want to see what's in that bag. I'll tell you right now, it's a gazillion zippers. And some of them are vintage Talon zippers because I can tell by the fonts. But seriously, this thing cost me, well, I'll find out later. We'll go over all that in a minute. Anyway, let's start with this very beautiful item that I found that I kept putting down, but I ended up getting it because I think it's vintage, but I'm not sure. And I think it's 1940s because of the grading of the color. So it is this beautiful kind of tulip thing. And I'm sure it's a planter. I'm actually was thinking it might be some old McCoy wear, but it's not. It's unmarked on the bottom. It does have the pull here where it was cut off. So, but it was just so beautiful. And if you can see the colors, these kinds of colors, these colors that are not quite as bright, but they're not actually also not pastel. They're kind of a washed out version. Those were very popular in the 30s and the 40s. And when you get into the 50s is where you see these brighter colors. And the bottom line is it was just because the technology had changed. Color on glazing became much brighter in the 50s. And then into the 60s is when you had those really amazing colors that were all over the place in the 60s. And that was because of technology. And the same with the 70s. And the funny thing is the later part of the 70s, you saw this backlash from that kind of bright pop of the 60s that, you know, the greens and the turquoises and the orange and the blues and the yellows. And you had earth tones came back in. Earth tones are my least favorite color palette, by the way. I always just feel like a hobbit. And because I kind of have the physique of a hobbit, I don't want to really encourage that. Of course, I'm too tall to be a hobbit. My feet are big enough, but I'm too tall to be a hobbit. So I don't know what I would be. Comment if you know what I would be, if anybody's listening, because nobody ever watches my videos, but that's fine. So what else did I get? Well, I got this slip. It's notoriously difficult to find slips these days. BT Dubs, and this is a Vanity Fair slip. This is probably not even that old. It's a size 40. It should fit me. I don't know. We'll see. If not, I'll pass it along. It was, you know, it was kind of, it was $2.99. It's not going to break the bank. And I need a white slip. Now, this next slip, though, this is interesting. This is, ooh, and this has got a little bit of marking on it. Wow. It's got a tiny, tiny little bit of staining on it. All right, so this slip is just a little half slip, right? And this is probably a cut to fit also. The reason they have so much lace on the bottom is these are cut to fits. So you would take this home and you would figure out, like, if you were petite, if you were average, I'm tall, so this would be my level, and then you would cut it off and it wouldn't fray anymore. Now, the interesting thing about this is it was made in the USA and apparently was made by Carol Channing. Yeah, you guys know who she is? If you don't, look her up. She's the original Hello Dolly. She had this insanely wide, like, smile, and she was best known for Broadway. And she is best known for like literally every musical known to man. And she lived to be like 98. I mean, the woman kept going. She was like the Betty White of her time. But it's, it was $3.99 for this, but I did just notice, even though it's new with tags, see that? It's got some dots on it. So these could be anything. I'm thinking they're like rust. Wow. And this is by Beau Tricks. Kind of like that name. Kind of sounds like my drag name. But anyway, and don't get me wrong, when I talk about drag, not only do I love drag queens, I feel to a certain extent I was raised by drag queens because I knew a bunch when I was fairly young, but two of my favorite people are drag queens, Helen Back, miss you, and Amanda Reckon With. Both of them are just fabulous. Amanda Reckon With is kind of famous because she does the gay bingo. And well, Helen Back is kind of famous also because she had a CD called Helen Back and the Straight Razors with her band. So look them up if you can find them. All right, the next thing I got, which was super beautiful, was this really cool race car fabric. And there's just enough of it for curtains. And my great nephew, his entire bedroom is race car themed. But he only has like classic kind of black curtains. They just threw some curtains up, so I'm going to make him some curtains. So that'll be super cute. And then, oh boy, this was $5.99. I'm going to try and very gingerly take the price tag off because it's just too much fun with these graphics are being blocked. So it is a still in the bag sheet. And it's a 50% Fortell polyester sheet. But the print, guys, was so, look at this floral print, right? Look at that. How cool that is. And I don't normally do 1950s kind of stuff, but I was thinking, this is a lot of fabric. This cost me $5.99, but it was totally worth it because this is a lot of fabric. And I'm thinking, maybe I should do the very famous walkaway dress, which I think everybody's done. This is probably more than enough fabric for the walkaway dress. It is so pretty. And I'm kind of like on the fence about it because I really don't do 1950s. So we'll see. I haven't decided yet. We'll see. But look at that. Look at the middle piece here and then see these over here. And then just generally, like the graphics on this thing, I love them. They're awesome. But again, I digress. So let's get to the meat of the issue here. So I paid for this $4.49. And I can tell you right now, it's worth it because I just bought a zipper the other day. Had I known I was going to buy this, I wouldn't have bought the zipper at Joann's for the skirt I'm making. But yeah, I did. And I think I paid $2.99 for, no, $3.29 I think was the zipper. Oh, wow. Yeah, this is the, wow. Zippers. More zippers. More zippers. These are all Talon. These are all Talon polyester zippers. They seem to be 20 inches, 20 inches. See, this is what I'm talking about. See this? Look at that. That's a very vintage look for your, I'm trying to see the price of this because that could also, well, actually, wow. Look at that. Look at that label. It's amazing. 75 cents for a zipper. It's made by Wrights. I wonder how long ago that was. So again, more like, see, this was the Talon zipper. This is the 70s and 80s when I was buying zippers, when I was sewing, when I was younger. This is definitely before that. So I'm thinking early 70s, 60s, maybe even 50s for these. And I don't even know when you could get a zipper for 75 cents because God knows how old this thing is. But all right, so more zippers. Wow. And great colors. Like, look at this. Look. Let me just drop that. Apricot. So like a color that I don't really, and it's a Zephyr zipper. No idea what that means. But it's an apricot Talon Zephyr zipper. And then more zippers. More apricot. Wow. Wow. You know what? I'm wondering if this is the same woman that I got all those patterns from, because she did bridal. And these, do these or do these not remind you of bridesmaids color? Hey, you're my best friend. I'm going to stick you in moss green for my wedding because I want to look really good. So I'm going to make sure, or willow green. Yeah, because I'm going to make sure that all my friends look like crap. So that way I'll look even better because I'm the bride. And look at this. Sequin pins. No idea what a sequin pin is, but they've never been opened. They're Create-A-Craft sequin pins. And Wright's piping. And you know what? This stuff I'll totally use. I'll totally use this. And then, oh, great. And as if I needed more. Remember all the elastic I got last time? Remember all the elastic that was in this thing? Look, guys, more elastic. Oh, and what do we have here? Oh, I just love little old ladies that sew, and they just save every little thing. These are just some inexpensive assorted needles, and they are made in China. They actually have Chinese writing on the back, which is kind of interesting. And this is a K&M. I don't know who K&M is. And they're needles, and they have floss, thread, couple extra buttons. That's all good. Oh, and here we go. Another pack of hand sewing needles. With these, now this is like the third one of these I've gotten. I have no idea what these are for. I think these are for making like canvases or something. You know, most of the needles are in here, not all of them. But again, see, this is made in the US, which means this can't be that old. And this was $1.29 at ShopRite. ShopRite, which is our local supermarket, doesn't even have tags that look like that anymore. So I have no idea how old this is. This is from when things had to be hand wrung, because see this TX? That means it's a taxable item. So the cashier would have to push these numbers in and then hit tax. I know, because I was a cashier at a health food store back in the day. Yes, one of my many jobs. This is amazing to look at these. But anyway, guys, so that's what I did today. And yeah, I got some other stuff with the patterns, and I didn't actually do a video about them, but I might. But right now I'm just overwhelmed by the fact that I have this many zippers for $4.49, because let's face it, I mean, look how many zippers I got, guys, right? $4.49 for 18 zippers for $4.49, plus this stuff, which I like to use piping on things. So yeah, there we go. Totally worth it for $4.49. But I digress. So anyway, till next time, guys. We got a new year coming. Let's all hang in there. There's a vaccine now. Don't come at me with the vaccine being loaded with 5G and Bill Gates is going to want to know everything about you. Bill Gates already knows everything about you if he really wanted to know. And most people aren't that interesting. So I would say relax. But I think I'm really hoping 2021 is going to be a better year. I don't want to say how bad could it get, because that's never a good thing to say. How bad could it get? So anyway, until next time, have a great new year if I don't see you. Stay well. Keep your stress levels down. And I'll put the links to my Etsy store if you're interested in any of this stuff. Some of it's going to go up on there. And until then, like, subscribe, ring the bell. Please comment. I love comments. Somebody left me a comment the other day, and I was so excited. It was crazy. I was like a little kid. And I will see you in the next video, which is probably going to be a video where I do some cooking from the Rosie the Riveter cookbook that I gotten before Christmas, because I had promised to do some recipes on it, and I actually haven't. So I think that's the next video. But until then, I'll see you, and have a wonderful life.